Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio NBA Closing Time Show for Wednesday, May 12th. Ian Cameron, Conor, Max, Skee, Profit, ready to break down this NBA slate. We're down to the count. We're really down to the last 10 days of the NBA regular season. So there's not a whole lot left. The playoffs are going to be here in 10 days from now. So we're looking forward to that. We'll be expanding this NBA show to 7 days a week because we want to have coverage of the entire postseason. And every game. So we'll be doing that starting May 22nd. So looking forward to that. And certainly looking forward to the playoffs. I'm sure Skee and Conor, you're in the same boat. Isn't it going to be nice that there's going to be players in the lineup, players actually on the floor, and you're not going to have to guess and should be like this wild goose chase quite as much in the playoffs. Motivation won't be an issue because everybody wants to win at playoff time. It's going to be a refreshing brand of basketball, of NBA to handicap at playoff time. And we're definitely looking forward to it for sure.
I can't wait for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be just a lot less stressful, a lot less aggravating. Because look, it's been an aggravating season for every NBA handicapper out there. Everybody's in the same boat. You think someone's in and they're out. You think someone's out and they're in the last minute. And you've already bet it, and you're already going to get stuck with a bad number because everyone's going to bet the same information you have. And that's happened a lot this season. And thankfully in the playoffs, we're not going to have to worry about that quite as much. Let's see if we worry about the Atlanta Hawks tonight, covering 6.5 here as home favorites against the Washington Wizards. Total 238.5 in this game. I backed Washington the other night. I think Conor did. I think even Skee leaned a little to Washington too in that game against Atlanta the other night. Even without Bradley Beal, we figured Russ Westbrook's playing well. There's still a lot at stake for Washington. They're trying to cement their playoff positioning at this point in time. They fell just short in the win column the other night against Atlanta, but they did cover wire to wire pretty much as 8-point dogs, 125, 124. For tonight's game, no Bradley Beal once again for the Wizards, so it's going to be pretty much the same starting five as the other night with Westbrook. Hachimura is going to play for Atlanta. They're going to have the same starting five as the other night as well. We've noticed that they've got healthier lately. Young Bogdanovich, Collins, Capella, and Kevin Huerter all in for the Hawks tonight. We kept thinking that maybe that total without Beal the other night was too high. At 236, still managed to get up and over the total and wind up with 249 points. That's now 6 straight overs for Washington, and even Atlanta has gone 4-0 to the over in their last 4 games. So, like I say, it's difficult. Now we're seeing this total tonight up in the range of 238.5. It's pretty high again. In fact, it's higher than the other night. But it's just almost at the point where you just keep seeing these teams go over, especially Washington. It's hard to bet an under. It's just very, very difficult. So I would lean over, and I would lean to coming back to Washington here again, even without Bradley Beal. They lost the other night, but covered. Atlanta could be the same kind of game where maybe Atlanta does win the game. Not so sure they win by enough of a margin here in this price range. Skee, we'll start with you here. What do you like, Washington, Atlanta?
Yeah, in the last one, I remember thinking Atlanta will regress as far as how hot they were shooting, which they did, but they still played an up-tempo game. And Washington shot better. They shot 50% from 3, I think. So that one got up and over. I still tend to think, I don't know, for whatever reason, you could lean towards an under, but I won't be betting it. I know both teams combined are like 11-2 to the over the last 2 weeks. And so I'll go to Atlanta side. I said that I thought Washington could keep it close because it was like a historic type of game. And of course they need the wins, but it's not that same kind of energy as when Russell Westbrook was going to break the record. So Atlanta's been the much better team. And without Bradley Beal, I would trust them to get a cover here.
Yeah, I think that was fueling them a little bit. That's an excellent point. That little intangible that Washington had on their side the other night with Russell Westbrook chasing some history, chasing the record. And maybe without that on their plate tonight, maybe a little bit of a different intensity level for Washington, maybe a lesser one. We'll have to wait and see. Conor, what do you think here, Wiz Hawks?
Yeah, this is a difficult one. I'm going to stay away from it. It's tough. All the overs. I think this one leans more under, but I can't bet it. Not today. I just, with all these overs they keep playing, I lean the Wizards again. But I don't think I could take it either. Skee, you just said the Hawks have been so good at home, and they win by double digits a lot, And the other night, the Westbrook, I thought they played really hyped up. One thing is both teams are healthy. I think they'll give a good effort. I just lean the Wizards a little bit, plus the 6.5. I'm going to stay off the game, though. I lean that way on the side. And the total, I'm going to stay away. Over or pass for me. I can't bet it.
All right, San Antonio and Brooklyn. Brooklyn 5.5 point home favorites, 232.5 the total in this game. The Brooklyn Nets on the second night of back-to-back. They played the Chicago Bulls last night and took care of business in that one, 115-107 in that victory. The second in a row for Brooklyn after beating Denver before that, which snapped a 4-game losing streak, albeit really to quality upper echelon competition. Portland was playing good at the time they lost to them. 2 losses to Milwaukee, no shame in that. Dallas, nothing wrong with losing to the Mavericks. So it was all the good competition, not a bad loss in that mix. Can they keep it going here tonight is the question. You've got James Harden, of course, sidelined that for a very long time, but it looks like now potentially maybe ready to make his return. Some sites have him listed probable, some game time decision, but definitely a chance that James Harden returns to action here for the Brooklyn Nets. We have Kyrie Irving, a game time decision. Of course, he got banged up last night in the game against Chicago. I could see him being a little bit more doubtful tonight than Harden, just because you want to be a little bit cautious, especially on the second night of back-to-back games with Irving going into this game. If you're Steve Nash, especially with the playoffs looming, and you're pretty much in that position where you don't want to get anyone injured unnecessarily. Can we trust San Antonio? Because I do lean a little to the Spurs here. Plus the point, it was certainly an impressive game the other night against Milwaukee. I know Skee kind of liked San Antonio the other night, plus points against Milwaukee. And I don't think we saw them winning outright in blowout fashion like that, but they sure did. It was a good performance from the Spurs the other night, taking care of business against the Bucks handily, wire to wire, 146-125. Can they follow it up, or do they bounce, off that big win the other night? I got to think they could keep it going a little bit, get some momentum from that. They do catch Brooklyn in a spot in a back-to-back situation where the Nets are only 5-8 against the spread back-to-back games this year. Second night of back-to-backs, they've been outscored by 3.3 points per game this season. So I definitely would look towards San Antonio here in this matchup, even if Harden's on the floor. Skee, what do you think here? Spurs Nets.
Yeah, I don't think the Spurs are locked into the 10th spot just yet. And I think they can move up or down either way, if I'm not mistaken. But Nets, kind of in a flat spot if you still want to look into that, just now coming back home. Yeah, like Razor says right there. And then also, you put in a high usage player like James Harden back in the lineup. That's not, we see all the time when a superstar comes back after such a significant amount of time missed. We saw LeBron, Anthony Davis. We see time after time. It's going to be hard for them to continue what they've been doing. So I like San Antonio to keep their momentum going. And they have a really tough schedule to end the year. Like I said before the last game, I don't think they can take any game lightly right now. So I think that they bring the effort for sure. And Brooklyn takes their time getting Harden back in the mix. So I like the Spurs.
Get the fuck out of here, Brian Watson. Is that true, that score? Don't yank my chain like that. Is it really 5-1 Cincinnati Reds, top 10? Wow. Holy shit. Team total over, baby. 4.5, if that's the case. Wow. Nice. I counted that as a loss. It was 1-1 in the 9th inning last I checked. I was preparing for this show, getting my notes ready, and I had said, screw this. I'm not going to win this with the Reds here today, and turned it off in disgust. Wow. Thank you, Pittsburgh bullpen. Appreciate it. Wow. 5-1 Reds, apparently, top 10. Good stuff. Conor Mack, I like San Antonio. Razor sharp, I'm in agreement with you. Yeah, the road trip spot. That's true. It wasn't a long road trip, but still, Brooklyn played a few road games in a row. Back home now, that's never a favorable spot for a lot of teams. So a lot of consensus here. San Antonio, live dog, plus the points here. Conor, do you agree?
I agree. Especially in this range, I think. And if the Nets win, it'll probably be by a couple. I could see them winning by 4. So I like the 5.5. The Spurs, I think, they got something to play for here. So I think they're going to play hard. Me and the Spurs have not been together here in sync. So like Skee liked them, but I didn't play them the other day. They kill it. And then I told you about the lawsuit with the Jazz. I stay off the Kings, play them against the Blazers. They lose by 20. So I've been a little off here with the Spurs, but I lean with the points. I love the the angle, the whole thing with the Nets. So definitely Spurs plus 5.5. Cautiously, I guess.
There you go. All right, we all like the Spurs here plus 5.5 in this one. Boston and Cleveland. Boston opened 10-point road favorites. They're now just 6-point road favorites. So right away there's some injury concerns for Boston, and namely Marcus Smart and Kemba Walker, who have been ruled out for this game. So now they're down to a 6-point road favorite, 219 the total in this game. Boston Celtics now trying to, I guess you're going to see this a lot, load management for a team like Boston here down the stretch. Manage minutes, manage playing time, maybe give guys rests. They're not a team I'm looking to lay 6. There's no question about that. The only question is, can I trust Cleveland? And I don't know if I can do that either. I just don't. I mean, they're not giving you a boatload of evidence that they can maintain competitiveness in a lot of games with a lot of their opponents lately. I mean, you just look at it. It's been a dreadful run for Cleveland. I don't think I could get behind them, even with Boston motivation and personnel absences. In spite of all of that, with Boston going into this game tonight, I just don't know if I have that confidence now with Cleveland. And look, I have a very, very tough time betting Cleveland plus 6 when I could have had plus 10 or plus 9 earlier. I mean, you're just not getting that same number either. So it's a rock and a hard place spot for me in this game. I don't want Boston, and I don't think I can trust Cleveland enough to take them. So I'm not involved in it. Skee, any opinions here for you, Celtics and Cavs?
I do have an opinion for sure. It's a couple of different ways I feel about it. I know Boston is not that great for one on the road versus being at home. They haven't been that great on the second of a back-to-back. And we see all the guys that they are missing. I understand. So if you want to look at Tatum points, that's probably something I can get behind because I still like Boston in this matchup. I want to actively fade any team that's tanking. It just doesn't seem like the Cavaliers are really trying much anymore. And I also talk about teams that have lost 5 or more games in a row. I guess that can coincide with that. If you've been doing it all season, you're winning 59.1% of the time. So Boston at that 7th spot, they're not that far behind in front of them. And like they can move either way is what I'm saying. And I want to bet on Boston here in this matchup. Cleveland's this entire month, they played 6 games. They're losing by 20.8 points per game. That's not a team that I'm putting my money on. It'll be Boston or nothing. And I'm probably honestly going to get involved. And I think I like an over in this one as well. Just don't see Cleveland playing much defense. Don't see either team playing much defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see the over getting there. I've been on Cleveland over a couple of times. I took Cleveland over with Dallas over the weekend, and it got there. And, yeah, defense was lacking sorely for the Cavs, although you could say it's been sorely lacking for weeks now. Conor, what do you think, Boston, Cleveland?
Yeah, the Tatum points is a good look. I like that as well. But I'm with you, Celtics here. Just even 6 with all the guys out. The Cavs haven't done anything. They still lost by 9 to the Pacers. Some people covered. I know some people didn't at the end. But no way. Skee's talking about it. I mean, they're losing by 25. I think 6 is – Celtics aren't any good. They are trash. Razor for sure. But I'll lay 6 with them. I can't take 6 with Cleveland. So give me the Celtics minus 6 here. I think they can cover. I think they go in by 10. So I like the Celtics here.
All right, liking the Celtics minus 6. Portland, Utah. Utah down to a 1-point favorite now at home in most spots, 234 the total. In this game, the Portland Trail Blazers, there's a lot at stake. Portland's trying to avoid a play-in at all costs right now. It matters. We'll see if they're able to maintain that positioning. But these are important games down the stretch for the Blazers, and they're living up to their name, the Blazers right now. They're blazing. They're playing good basketball. There's no question about that. They absolutely dismantled. No, it's not. They're a hapless, sorry team, Houston. But still, the way Portland completely dismantled them the other day, it was a very impressive, dominant win for them, the one you hope to see when they're a much superior team. They're now all the way up to 40-29. This Portland team, all of a sudden up to 11 games above 500. So give the Blazers credit. They're playing some of their absolute best basketball of the season. I think they're live here to win this game. I understand fully why the money's come in on Portland. For Utah, we know that they've been up and down a little bit, erratic. Of course, you're going to be that way when you have your starting backcourt, Conley and Mitchell, out for an extended period of time like they have. And look, Utah got a little gift last night, courtesy of the Golden State Warriors, knocking off the Phoenix Suns. That's really, really given the Jazz the upper hand and the inside edge to the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. So I don't want to say there's a lack of urgency or intensity compared to Portland, but I think compared to the Blazers probably needed a little bit more. And I love the form of the Blazers right now, enough to back them in this spot. So give me the Portland Trailblazers here. Skee, what do you think? Portland and Utah.
Yeah, I see a lot of advantages for Portland as far as their guards against Utah's guards. I know Utah likes to chase guys off the 3. And I mean, I can see McCollum having a big day. He's a great mid-range shooter. He can get to it every spot he wants, So I probably would look towards playing on his props if I like the Portland side. Utah, much better at home than on the road. It's tough for me. I think that it could go either way. Either they see this game and they just want to like clinch the number 1 seed, or they see that they have a couple easy games after, if I'm not mistaken, and they could do it then. So I'm kind of iffy on the side. I do know that Portland's going to come to play. It's just I'm wary of Utah's mindset for this game. I think I would rather play an over. Both teams, top 5 offensive rated teams in the last 5 games, can play fast or slow. So I think in this type of game, they'll be a little bit faster. And both shooting the 3 very well. Blazers, 2nd, 3-point percentage over the last 10, and Utah 6th. I like the over if I had to play this one right now.
All right, lean to the over. Yeah. If you're on the side, maybe look at some props in this one. And you know what? The point is about, even though I like Portland here, from a bargain standpoint, there may not be one. They opened 3.5, Utah. The betting markets have pushed it down further, and it's like it's been a feeding frenzy on Portland. And Mike Campbell in the chat saying it. It's a 31-4 team on their home floor now at a pick and price range. So I understand that element of it. And, maybe Utah still wants to put a foot down and clinch tonight. But that being said, matchup-wise, I mean, you talk about backcourt mismatches. This is absolutely one without Mitchell and Conley for the Utah Jazz, that this should be a field day. And speaking of feeding frenzies, it should be for Dame Lillard and McCollum tonight for this Portland team, no question. Conor, what do you think here, Blazers and Jazz?
Yeah, they should do well tonight, Dame, with the guards out, with Mitchell and Conley. The value's gone, like you mentioned. I didn't get on it at 3.5. I don't like it at 1 as a pick 'em. I don't love the side. I'm a little more on the total. Jazz games have gone over a little bit lately. We all know the Blazers don't like playing defense. I think the Jazz he'll be able to do whatever he wants inside, rebound, points. I think he'll get his. I lean over here in this one. Trailblazers 35-17 their last 52 road games to the over. I think it can get up and over 234.
All right, we have the Dallas Mavericks hosting the New Orleans Pelicans. Dallas 9-point favorites at home, 224 the total. I think I'm sticking right on the Pelicans bandwagon in this game, catching the points. I understand Dallas played last night against Memphis. It was pretty much a no-show. It was a terrible, abysmal performance, 133-104 loss to the Grizzlies in that game. So, yeah, there's the part of me that thinks Dallas wants to atone, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to win this game. If they got to win by double digits. And look, this New Orleans Pelicans team, say what you will about them, they have been a very, very good competitive team lately. They have battled their way in games. In fact, both of these teams last played Memphis. Dallas last night, and of course New Orleans the night before, ended up covering the number in defeat, losing 115-110. But you look at New Orleans, they've been a point spread juggernaut for the last 9 games, 8-1 ATS in their last 9 games. They've been covering numbers specifically in this underdog role. It looks like for them, no Lonzo Ball tonight, no Steven Adams. Of course, Ingram's been out for a while. Zion Williamson out for New Orleans as well. All concerning. But at the same point in time, they've been found ways still to cover numbers. They catch Dallas on the back-to-back. I'd still lean a little bit to the Pelicans here at +9 in this one. Totals-wise, again, for New Orleans, it's difficult. This is one of those teams it's difficult for me to ever bet a New Orleans game under the total. So I guess I'd lean a little to the over. But riding the Pelicans ATS train is probably something I'll do here once again. Again, I don't love the injury situation for the Pelicans, or the fact the Mavericks were embarrassed last night. So causes for concern, I guess you could say, but I'm still going to plow forward regardless with New Orleans here at plus points, +9 in this one. What do you think here, Skee, with New Orleans and Dallas?
Yeah, I want to look at the game a little bit different way, but I don't really trust New Orleans. Like, just looking at who's available, it looks like a team that's kind of pulling the plug. So no Lonzo, like Lonzo can't even play.
Yeah.
No Zion, no. There's too many points missing for New Orleans, and I just feel like they're not even trying to win as far as the lineup they're putting out. So I look towards Dallas, who players didn't play very many minutes yesterday. I think Doncic only played 25 minutes, and they're really close too. I think they're right there as far as close to the play-in, a game or so with the team in front of them or behind them, et cetera, et cetera. So I think they want to try to avoid the play-in. I want to say Dallas is in front of Portland, and Lakers are behind them, and all by like a game. So I think Dallas comes out and gets started early and kind of cruise in the second half. So I want to look at Dallas in the first half minus the 4.5. I know over their last 10, they've covered 7 of them, winning by like 6 points per game. And on the flip side, New Orleans is 2-8 against the spread their last 10 first half. So give me Mavericks minus 4.5 in the first half.
Yeah, Mavericks are 6th in the West. They're 1 game clear of the Lakers for 7th. And, of course, 7th this year is the first play-in spot. So to avoid the play-in, you got to finish top 6. And Dallas is 6th right now, 1 game ahead of the Lakers. So if they want to maintain, staying ahead of that 7, 8, 9, 10 pack, they're going to have to keep winning games. Yeah, with New Orleans, they're 2.5. They should have everything to play for because they're still mathematically alive. 2.5 back of San Antonio for that final play-in spot. But the problem is, you're right, it smells and feels like maybe, hey, we're giving up a little. We've lost belief that we can make it. They just saw San Antonio pound the living daylights out of Milwaukee. I'm sure that didn't make New Orleans very happy. And maybe they saw that game unfold the way it did. Oh, look at the Spurs beating up on the Bucks. What shot have we truly got, to make the play-in? So you're right. There's a little bit of a motivational element here that's kind of concerning me in the pit of my stomach here with the Pelicans tonight. We'll see if they show up on the floor, even with the guys out. Connor, what do you think here? Pelicans, Mavericks.
This is a difficult one for me. The temperament of both teams, like, are they playing hard? Like you said, are the Pelicans pulling the plug because they still have an outside chance? But all these players out. I mean, Ball's one thing, and then Ingram, but now Adams. Zion's already out. It's tough for me. The Pelicans have played so scrappy. I don't want to take them. I like Skees the first half, Dallas minus 4. If I'd be on him, I'd be on him early. Maybe not full game at 9.5. I lean that way. And I look at a little bit at this game, the under. The Pelicans all of a sudden have been an under team. I know this total's a little low, 224, but I'm looking at the full game under here, 224.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
All the scoring is out. All the scoring is out for Pelicans. Zion, Ingram, they're one of the better 3-point shooters in Lonzo, so I agree.
Yeah, no doubt. To me, this is one of those nights where when I saw the absences for New Orleans, I'm like, I know I've been betting New Orleans over the total a lot, but tonight wasn't really interested. Houston and LA Lakers final game. We expect LeBron James to be playing tonight. Of course, found out that he was going to be rested against the Knicks and the Skee profit theory. He mentioned it right on this show. He mentioned it. LeBron's been kind of ducking the tougher teams on the schedule and looking to come back against some of the weak sisters of the poor. And that's exactly what we have here playing this Rockets team tonight. We've got the Lakers 11.5-point home favorites, 222 the total. I agree with the move on the side, believe it or not. Like the Rockets in ugly fashion, believe it or not, whether it's through the back door or whatever the case may be, they have covered some numbers lately. You'd have the Lakers off an intense, satisfying overtime victory last night against the New York Knicks, where they rallied troops even without LeBron. LeBron was like a pseudo associate coach to Vogel on the sideline with his actions. He's been that way a lot, actually. He's been out lately. He's been like mentoring and coaching the Lakers from the sideline there. He was doing that last night. It was a satisfying win. Knicks were red hot. Lakers beat them. They band together. Davis good down the stretch. They get big performances from the supporting cast: Kuzma, Caldwell Pope, Horton Tucker. It give the Lakers credit for gutting that one out last night. I think they were excited to stick it to Spike Lee as well, who was in attendance on the sideline last night in that Knicks and Lakers game. So poured in a lot to that. And I know LeBron probably back tonight and expected to play. But, we talked about it with Harden in the Brooklyn game. Skee brought up that point. It could be disjointed chemistry disrupt the flow, disrupt the rhythm, disrupt the chemistry a little bit when you bring someone back. That could happen with Harden for Brooklyn. Maybe it happens for the Lakers a little bit here on this back-to-back with LeBron coming back. I can't say I love Houston, but look, they have covered 3 in a row as big underdogs and against good teams. 8-point loss at Milwaukee, 8-point loss at Utah, and then the 11-point loss at Portland. They were down big in that game. They did come through the back door, but they found ways to sneak inside numbers, and it could be a little bit of a flat spot for the Lakers potentially back-to-back. Lean Houston, don't love it, but I might sprinkle a little something on Houston. I agree with the side move. I don't know if I agree with the totals move, though. It's gone down. Houston has been trending over the total 5 straight. The defense is almost non-existent here for the Rockets. Maybe you get enough points to get over 222 in this one, but certainly I'm not looking to bet Houston under right now. So I lean to the Rockets, lean to the over in this one. Skee, what do you think here? Rockets, Lakers.
Yeah, I'm not betting these tanking teams or teams that have lost 5 or more games in a row. So I won't be on the Houston Rockets. I'll just say that. As far as what I would probably look towards the most in this game is going to be the over. And my thought process would be Houston plays fast, doesn't play a lick of defense. Lakers kind of the opposite, but I kind of don't think Anthony Davis is going to play. He wasn't looking so great at the end of the game. He should just rest his groin, and I think LeBron does play. So I think the Lakers without Anthony Davis play a little bit faster and obviously get a little bit worse
less rim
defensively.
protection.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I like points in this game. I like the over if I'm playing it.
Yep. 100%. Yep. So I totally agree. I understand the reluctance with Houston in the back then, but we do agree with the over for sure. Connor, what do you think here? Rockets and Lakers.
Make it 3. That was one of my first looks today. I thought the over here. I've not only first half, I've been a bunch of Rocket first halves the last month in the full game. I think there's a bunch of points. And lately, they've been playing no defense, like 130, 120. Every game's over 250. Tons of guys game time decision. We'll see. I think some play, some don't. Davis doesn't. We'll see on Kuzma. Caruso probably plays. We'll see. All of them got game time decision that I'm looking at right here. But it doesn't take many. Yeah, LeBron, I think they go through the motion, score a ton of points. They might not cover, but give me the over here.
All right, over 222, Connor. Mac liking that one as well. All right, great stuff. Ski Prophet, Connor Mac, as always, with me on the NBA Closing Time Show 3 days a week, but expanding to 7 days a week when the NBA playoffs tip off on Tuesday, May 22nd. So we are looking forward to that for sure. Playoffs not that far away as of right. No, sorry, May 22nd. I was looking at the wrong month here. I was looking at last month. I think that May 22nd is actually a Saturday. So there you go, or Sunday rather. Yeah, Sunday, May 22nd. So that's actually the first day of the playoffs this year, Sunday, May 22nd. So that's when the show expands basically to 7 days a week. Looking forward to that. We'll get to best bets in just a second. And when before we do that, as we always do at this time of the show, we'll pause for a little message from our sponsors, Manscaped. All right, Manscaped, promo code PubSports. Check them out and take care of all your male grooming products using Manscaped, promo code PubSports as well. MyBookie.ag, promo code PubSports with NHL, NBA, MLB on a daily basis. Bitcoin accepted currency. MyBookie.ag, promo code PubSports. Check them out as well. All right, it is best bet time, and I'm in a much better mood now thanks to Lord Gambler looking out for me today, shining his light on me today with that Cincinnati Reds team total comeback.
I haven't had one of those in a while. Those are
I know. Jeez, I counted it as a loss. I thought it was done. Finished.
Yeah.
They didn't get a lick other than a Mike Moustakas solo home run off Trevor Cahill, which I did not expect. But thankfully, they knocked up that Pirate bullpen in the 10th inning. I'll take it. So it puts me in a much better spirit now going into the rest of the day. Hopefully, the best bets will keep me in good spirits tonight in the NBA. Ski Prophet, we'll start with you. What do you like for a best bet tonight?
I was looking. I could go a couple of different ways here, but I'll stick with the team that was good to me on the last show. And they have a lot of motivation to continue to play hard every single game. And we're going to bet against that. The other team doesn't have any chemistry and the star player coming back. So we're going to take the Spurs plus the 5.5 points. And we'll also fade that flat spot for Brooklyn.
Like it a lot. Absolutely. San Antonio plus 5.5 against Brooklyn. Best bet for Skee Profit. Connor, Mac, what do you like for best bet?
I like it too. I like a few games today. I'll stick with the last one. And we'll just go full game, even though I like the first half as well. Give me the full game. Rockets, Lakers over 222. Yeah, 222.5. There's halves out there. I think we get up and over tonight. There.
All right. Liking Houston, LA Lakers over 222. Actually, there is a 222 at a couple places. So that's what we'll give you here for the total. Rockets, Lakers over 222. Best bet for Connor, Mac in this one. Mine is going to be the Portland Trail Blazers, even at a worse number here, plus 1.5 against the Utah Jazz. I like this spot still. They're playing great ball. Utah really is going to clinch the 1 seed, I think, at this point. It's just a question of when, especially after Phoenix lost to Golden State Warriors, did the Jazz a big solid last night in that one. So I think Portland here got a real shot to win this game on the road. Portland plus 1.5 against Utah for my best bet for this Wednesday card. That'll wrap up this edition of the NBA Closing Time Show. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us and tuning in. As always, we'll be back with you on Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, for the next edition of the NBA Closing Time Show. For Skee Profit and for Connor, Mac, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll talk to you again tomorrow on Thursday, Connor and I for the MLB show, and the three of us will see you Friday for another edition of the NBA Closing Time Show right here on Pub Sports Radio.